Hello there, my people. Welcome to my YouTube channel that I have revived so many times. Guys, this is the last time I'm reviving this channel, okay? It must work. All right, today I want to speak about the first-time home buyer. I want to take you through the home buying process if you're a first-time home buyer, and I want to explain terms that might not make any sense to you. So we have 5 steps. I've made it into 5 steps where I'll tell you, where I can explain the whole process to you. So number one is get pre-qualified or get pre-approved. That's the same thing, pre-qualification, pre-approval. Number two, look for a home in your price range. Number three, sign OTP and apply for a home loan. Number four, transfer and bond registration process. Number five, registration. And that's the point where you are ready to move into your home and call yourself a homeowner, a property owner. Okay, so number one, getting pre-qualified or getting a pre-approval is the first step. Okay, when you say you are ready to buy a home, that's the first step that you need to start by, because that's the step that tells us where you can look, which areas you are able to buy in and all that stuff. Okay, so getting pre-qualified basically is you going to the bank and asking them to tell you how much you qualify for. How much of a home loan do you qualify for from the bank? Okay, so you can either do this by physically going to the bank, you can do this online, you can do this with a person called a bond originator, and they'll basically need 3 months bank statements, 3 months pay slips, and a copy of your ID, and then they'll check for you how much you qualify for. And that this is determined by two variations. First of all, your salary, how much income you earn, and secondly, your credit score. Now, credit score is so much important because the bank looks at your credit score as your reputation, to see how do you handle other people's money. Can they trust you with their money? So your credit score is very important. Now, there are many different articles and different train of thoughts when it comes to what is a good credit score, but everybody agrees if it's in the 600s, it's a good credit score. So somebody will say if it's 600, it's a good credit score, but I agree with the group that says anything above 660 is a good credit score, and you should be on your way to the bank. But yeah, so anything above 660, that's a good credit score. All right, the bank checks that to see whether they can trust you. Okay, now that you've gotten pre-approved, step number two, you need to look for a home within your price range. So for instance, now that you know that you qualify for 600,000, you qualify for 1 million, which areas fit that price range? Which areas do you like? Which areas don't you like that fit that price range? Go over to Proper 24 and you check there all the properties that you qualify for and that are within that price range, and you find a property that you like, you click, and then you get in contact with the agent that's selling that property. You arrange a viewing, you go to the viewing, you look at the property, you inspect the property, you look at the property. Now, when dealing with a real estate agent, one question that you want to ask is, why is the seller asking? Now, here's how you do this. You ask the agent when you're outside, because you'll come to the property, you'll meet the agent outside, ask the agent, why is the seller selling? And then when you get into the property, if the seller's there, when you've viewed the property and all that stuff, ask the seller again, why are you selling? The reason this is important is the agent can lie to you outside. The seller can even lie to you inside. But if you ask it like that, then you will know whether they are lying or not, if their stories are different, right? It's a very important question. Okay, no, I'm not gonna go that route. Okay, fine, let me go that route. It's a very important question because you then establish the reason behind the sale. So now they can lie to you easily, yes, but that doesn't mean you're not gonna do it just because they can lie to you. Some people will actually tell you the truth. Listen here, it's a terrible neighborhood. When I get out of here, it's some people will not do it, some people will do it. You have nothing to lose. Just ask the question, right? Another thing that you want to do is you want to go on Pro 24 and assess whether the area, the houses in the area, if there are houses in the area that have been sold, are priced similarly to this one, right? So houses may differ, but you'll see that there's a similar price range. Okay. For instance, you go to Camps Bay, you see there's a similar price range. It's tens of millions, 20 millions, but like it's a similar price range, right? So you want to see that as well, because there are systems that we use in real estate, but that can be confidential because it has all the seller's details and all that stuff. So that can be kept confidential. A real estate agent might not give you that. Or what you can do is you contact another real estate agent and then you just ask them about that area. Can you tell me about this area? I'm interested in buying this area. What is the price range of this area? Do your research, guys. Okay. So number three. So on number two, you found the property that you like. They have answered you all your questions. You are satisfied. Now, number three, sign offer to purchase. Offer to purchase is a contract, okay, that says you are wanting to buy this house at this price, at this location, and all those stuff. It's basically a contract, right? Offer to purchase, or what is called a deed of sale. Now, on the offer to purchase, most of them will have footnotes, which means the property is being sold as it is. Okay, but the footnote does not cover defects that the seller knew about and did not come forward with them, or didn't inform you about them. Right? There are things where you can actually see, no, you did know about this. You passed by every time, every day. You must have passed by every day, and you didn't let me know. Okay, but then there are things where they didn't know, and then when you are in there, and then they are not liable for that. Okay, so you signed offer to purchase. After you signed the offer to purchase goes to the bank, and then the bank will then take about a week to grant you a home loan. And after that, now begins the process. Step number four. Now that you have gotten approved, a home loan approval, now it's time for the lawyers to work their magic. Now, there are two sets of lawyers, okay? They are both called conveyancers. On the one side, we have the transfer attorneys, okay? And that's where the term transfer costs comes from, because these ones are the ones that are transferring the property's name. These ones are the ones that are transferring the name on the property, which is the seller's name. They are removing that name and putting your name on that property. And then you have bond attorneys, which are appointed by the bank, and that's where the term bond costs come from, because those are the costs of these ones. Bond attorneys, they are appointed by the bank to register the bond in your name. Now, their pricing is most of the time similar. So if these ones are charging 15,000, these ones will are also likely to charge 15,000. So then it's 30,000. Yeah. And that gets paid by lucky you. Yes. Now, in most cases, the attorneys are chosen, the transferring attorneys, they are chosen by the seller, even though you, as the buyer, are paying for them, because the asset, the property, belongs to the seller. So they are the ones who then must dictate which attorneys to go with. But there are circumstances where, for instance, the buyer will say, I have a good relationship with these attorneys and they will give me a discount. And the seller can say yes or no, but that is the seller's decision to make. All right. So the whole process, right, what the lawyers are busy with, it takes about 3 months. It takes about 3 months when it's with a bond. But when it's a cash deal, it takes 1 month for the property to be registered in your name as a buyer. But when it's a bond, it takes 3 months for that whole process. And that process is running this side and this side, right? And then step number 5, registration. Yeah! Now, registration is the favorite day for an agent, okay? It is a wonderful day where the sun is shining, where the birds are singing, where the bank is just giving out money to agents. Registration is the day that the property is in your name. You are now a property owner. And by right, when the property registers at 11, it's usually around 11 or 12, you can go get your keys that day. Well, according to what the contract says, right? So normally what I'll say is, on the day of registration, At 3 o'clock, we can meet on the at the property, and I'll hand over the keys to you as the buyer. But some companies maybe will wait until the next day. I don't know why, because if you are a buyer, you have that excitement, you want your keys immediately. All right, so let's do a revision. Okay, number one, get pre-qualified. Okay, number two, look for a home in your price range. Number three, sign an offer to purchase and apply for a home loan. Number four, transfer and bond registration process. Number five, registration. Now, another thing that I'd like to add is that if your property, the property that you are buying, right, is more than 1.1, then you are liable for what is called transfer duty, which is a fancy word for tax. Yes. So any properties that are, all the properties that are below 1.1, they don't pay any transfer duty. But properties that are above 1.1, you are liable for transfer duty. Yes, you as the buyer. So what are you paying so far? Have we learned? You are paying the attorneys, okay? Transfer and bond attorneys. And you are paying transfer duty if the property that you are buying is more than 1.1. The seller, on the other hand, is paying the agent's commission and any debt that they might have towards the bank. So if they owe a portion of money to the bank, they'll pay that, and then they'll pay the agent's commission, and then they'll pay the COCs. But I'll do a video about the sellers. Okay, now I'm talking to the buyers. Another thing that I'd like to add, buyer, is that you have options at your disposal, right? So I know a lot of banks, and I'll put that picture up here that gives you all the options. A lot of banks offer you as a first-time home buyer some incentives to come bank with them. So for instance, they'll say that we'll give you 105% bond or 110% bond. That 5 or 10% is money that will cover your attorneys. Yeah. So they are trying to get you to give them business. So they'll cover your attorneys. So they'll not only give you the money to buy the property, but the attorneys as well. Also, first-time home buyer, you have the option which the South African government is giving you of FLISP, or what is now called first home finance, where if you earn between 3.5 thousand and R1 to 22,000, and you are a South African citizen, you are first-time home buyer, you have dependents, you qualify for a housing subsidy. This is money that is coming from the government to help you out, whether you want to use the money as a deposit or you use the money to pay out the lawyers. No matter how you want to use the money, it's up to you, but you have that option as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kanya, that property guy. I hope this video was informative. If you have any other questions, just drop it in the comments below, and I shall do my best to answer the best way I know how. Okay, thank you very much. Peace.